just going to have a quick chat about axes and their ilk. So first, why would a knife guy be interested in making axes? Am I going to start making them? No, I'm not, but I am interested in sharpening them, and quite often they don't come with a good mask or sheath, and so I've started making them. First off, talking about this, which is a little cold steel tomahawk. It's nice on the axe, and you'd have a lot of difficulty trying to take down a tree with it, but it's very handy if you're hunting or camping and on the move and want a little bit of firewood. This will split and cut firewood quite handily, and the fact that it comes off means that you have a handy little knife as well if you want to do a little bit of cutting. I guess you could use it for food prep, but what I was thinking of primarily, something like this would be useful, is for splitting open your carcass. Easy to pack, lightweight. I think the axe, just under 600 grams. Add a little wee sheath like this, 33 more grams, and you're looking at very lightweight, very handy, cheap as well. I think this was 60 or 70 bucks, and easy to pack because the fact that the head just pops off means you can put this in your pack, this on the outside. I mean, if it's going to be worse, you could probably make one of these. It's just a stick that slips on, and it will chop, and it's quite handy, and you can get them sharp. Not very good for chopping anything big though, really only just something for kindling. If you want to chop something bigger, something like this will do the job. This I know nothing about, picked up at the market, it's poorly put together. It's got 800 stamped on the side, which means I think the head is 800 grams. I don't know what the steel is, don't know anything about it, except I got it fairly sharp. I think this was like 10 bucks at the market. It was rusted as anything, and I've given it a very basic clean up. It'll chop fairly effectively. You've got limited swing, so it's not going to take down a massive kauri or anything like that, nor should you try and do so, but it will chop much more effectively than the tomahawk, and you can still use it a little bit like a knife, as you've got fairly good control over the thing. Although honestly, I prefer to leave it at home, chopping your wood for your fireplace. If you're actually going to be doing anything that involves serious collection of wood, I would look at something like this. Your weight on something like this is 1460, probably less because I've added this leather protector on it. It comes with a basic sheath. It's Husqvarna. Now the interesting thing about Husqvarna, of course, is that they don't make axes. Who made it? Brooks. So that's a Swedish manufacturer. This is a handmade Swedish axe, or hand forged, hand produced. In Sweden, these guys are the premier maker of axes. Outside of Sweden, we think of Brooks as being the premier. In Sweden, guys who made these are the premier. And again, Swedish carbon steel gets fairly sharp. It's fairly small, packable. You can chop down a fairly large tree with this. I've done that. It's probably not the best thing for that, but it will certainly do the job. It's really more of a limbing axe, but firewood, gathering, strap it to your pack, very useful, very, very handy. And if you can find one of these Husqvarnas, snap them up, because trying to buy the equivalent Brooks or Wettlings or something like that, you're going to pay a fortune, whereas the Husqvarnas are cheaper and with a little bit of work to make brilliant axes. Now if you want something bigger for actually chopping down trees, something like this with a handle is going to be doing your job. This is a Plum USA one. The head itself weighs as much as axe and handle. this was in very poor shape when I found it. It was actually my grandfather's. It's a 1950s vintage one. It was in a bucket with some chain and some nails and bolts and rust. I took it out and was about to throw it in the bin because I didn't recognise what it was besides being just a big old mess of rust. Decided I'd give it just a bit of a clean up. Just wanted basically to see what happened if I threw it in a bucket of vinegar. And then the words came out, plum, once I cleaned it up a little bit, and I decided to restore it. Good axes, really good axes. They brought them into New Zealand and Tasmania in the sort of 50s with the idea of chopping the big logs we have here. This, I'm still looking for a handle for it, and I haven't got it sharp yet because I don't want to get it razor sharp until I've got a handle on it, because I'll probably chop myself. I'm going to make a sheath for this one and for this one, and I make sheaths out of kydex, not leather. I think kydex is a better material because you can just wash it out, and it won't go all soft and gooey like the leather. So yeah, basically I recommend kydex, and I make sheaths for a fairly good price out of kydex. This here is a just a rough go at making a mask all out of kydex, reinforced, little clip, easy as, going with the Tuatahi work axe. This is your axe if you really want to take down a tree. Any size, doesn't matter, this will do the job. This is a proper axe. These guys make racing axes, probably the best racing axes in the world. Proprietary steel, they won't tell you what it is, comes out of Europe somewhere. They get it sent to them, they forge them, they get the handles, the wood for the handles sent over from America, where they make them themselves. It's fairly rough, it's got markings all over it, that aids in the grip. This thing here, this thing here is, oh here we go, 3.1 kilos. It's not light by any stretch of the imagination, and it's just effortless through the paper. It's just a dream. These are expensive. Like I said, racing axes. The only difference between this and the actual racing models is the grind. This is a general purpose grind, 11 degrees per side, guaranteed to be able to chop into frozen wood. You name it, it'll handle it. Only real disadvantage, one, it's all hand forged, so it's expensive. Takes a long time to get to you. You can't just walk down to the shop and pick one up like you might be able to with that, and certainly you can with, that. And it's heavy. You wouldn't really take this camping unless you're a lot bigger than me, or perhaps you're going to a dedicated spot where you boated in, or you went in a four-wheel drive or horse or something. But if you can get yourself one of these, worth the wait. Absolutely beautiful axes. You'll be handing it down to your kids. Fantastic. I can't say enough good things about them. Sharp, touch like a paper, and it chops wood like a dream. So when hacking wood, come in, it's still just a slice of paper. Beautiful, beautiful axes made here in New Zealand. Yes, they're expensive, but they're worth it. And I can get these sharp, although the way it came, the way I've been using it, and the way it can still cut paper here, you probably wouldn't need to do much to it. And I can make your basic mask for them as well. And the fact that I have it means I don't need to have your mask, your axe to make it. They're all the same size, besides the fact that they're handmade. So if I can make one for mine, then I can make one for yours. Now this here is a little bit of a folly perhaps. This is Gränsfors Brooks, a double bit axe, made in Sweden, hand forged. It's the other big forge. It's basically two now. There's Gränsfors Brooks, they own Wetterlings as well, and there's Holksbrook's, no, another one. So there's two manufacturers. This one's a working axe, a felling axe. It's again hand forged Swedish steel. Comes sharp hickory handle. I've all got hickory handles. Hickory makes the best kind of wood for a handle as it absorbs some shock and carries through. Beautiful piece. Weight wise, 2-3. So more portable than the big one. Again, I might make a proper Kydex mask for it at some point, but in the meantime it's got this little leather one it came with. Hard to get over here, ridiculously expensive. I got this one, someone else had it and didn't want it, and I picked it up for a song. The axes, the blades on this one are identical, so they're both chopping. What you can do, if you want, is keep one razor sharp, and they're both razor sharp at the moment, and then change the angle on your other one to make it a little bit more robust, and that way you've got something for chopping into clean wood, something for chopping into areas with roots and knots and things where you might damage a razor edge, but you probably won't damage your rough edge. I might do that at some point. In the meantime, I'm just having fun with the fact that I can slice and dice with both edges. All of these have got olive oil on the blades, and I put boiled linseed oil on the handles. This one you could actually take maybe at 2.3, 2.4 kilos, maybe certainly take it kayaking, canoeing, base camp. But again, if I'm actually seriously going somewhere where I'm going to be taking an axe for chopping wood and moving around a lot, something like this Husqvarna would be king. But this one and the tuatahi and the plum, when it gets a handle, would be the ones that you want to actually fell a tree. This one for limbing your tree, your little tomahawk thing, good for splitting up, kindling for home use. I guess you could take it with you camping if you wanted. Something like this, again, cheap as chips, fun, light, good for chopping open a carcass if you want to. You can use it like a knife, driving tent steed peaks with the back. Kind of handy, overlooked I think. Not really big in New Zealand, but has potential, but certainly not what you want to do to actually chop down a tree. Small branch would be the best. But kindling, brilliant. At some point I'm going to do a video actually chopping with them. In the meantime, this was more just a tabletop chat about axes. Cheers.